So yesterday we started learning how to write the equation of a parabola in conic form. They gave us the focus or directrix, or sometimes they gave us the focus and the vertex. So we're going to review that, and then we're going to learn how to do it when the directrix is a vertical line. Okay? So the focus is 1, 2. That means I plot a point at 1, 2, and I label it F. Now, the reason it's important to label the focus with an F is because in just a second, we're going to be plotting a vertex, which is also a point, and you don't want to get the two confused. You need to know which one's the focus, which one's the vertex. The directrix is always a line. If this is a line that crosses the y-axis at 0, then it must be a horizontal line, because to cross the y-axis at 0, you have to be going horizontal to cross the y at 0, correct? Now, yesterday we also learned something about the vertex. It's always located directly between the directrix and the focus. So wouldn't that place the vertex right there at 1, 1? So now we know 2 of the 3 things that we must know to be able to write the equation of this parabola. We know our vertex, which is our h and k. The only other thing you have to know to be able to complete this equation is the p-value. The p-value is always the distance from the vertex to the focus, which in this case is 1 unit. Now, another thing you need to go ahead and realize is how will the parabola open, up or down? Up. The focus is always inside the parabola, so in this case, it has to open up because the focus was above the vertex, which makes your a value positive. Okay, so now we have everything we need to know to complete the equation of this parabola. We have the h, the k, and the p. So y minus k equals 1 over 4 times p, and your p is a 1, so 4 times 1 is just 4, and then x minus h, which is a 1 squared. And then since it opens up, this 1/4 will remain positive. Had it opened down, you would throw a negative right there. Any questions? Okay, let's try the next one. This time we're given a focus of -3, +3, so that would be left 3, up 3, and a directrix of y equals 5. So that's a horizontal line that crosses through the y-axis at 5. Okay? All lines that start with y equals and just contain a number, think about it. Isn't y equals 5 the same thing as y equals 0x plus 5? Isn't that the same thing? So you go up to 5 and plot your y-intercept, but then since the slope is 0, you would go up 0 over 1, up 0 over 1. And that's why it forms a horizontal line, because the slope is 0. It has 0 steepness. Okay, now we learned that the vertex will always be directly in between the focus and the directrix. So wouldn't that place the vertex right there? And what are the coordinates right there? -3, +4, correct. So now that we have identified the vertex, we have 2 of the 3 things we need in order to write this equation. We have the h and the k. What's the only other thing you need to write the equation? The p-value. Okay? What is the p-value? It's always the distance between the vertex and the focus. And in that case, that's 1 unit. Okay, so now we're ready to write the entire equation. So we use this equation. Y minus your k value, which is 4, equals 1 over 4 times your p value. P is 1, so it'll just stay 4. Parentheses x minus your h value, which is -3. So what happens if I try to put a -3 right beside this? Right. Now, is my parabola going to open up or down? Down. Whenever the focus is below the vertex, it has to open down so that the focus is inside the parabola, which means we need to do what in the equation? Make this 1/4 a -1/4. Okay, and number 3, what did they give you different? Correct. This time they gave us the focus and the vertex. So first I'll plot my focus at 2, 0, and label it F for focus. Then I plot my vertex at 2, 2. So technically they already gave you 2 of the 3 things you need. The only thing we need to find out is the p value, right? And we'll go ahead and find the directrix because on the test it may say what is the directrix equation for this one. Where would the directrix be located if the focus is here and the vertex is here? Two above that, right? So right here. So you're going to draw a horizontal line in, 2 notches above that, which will be right here. And what's the equation of that line? Y equals 4, because it crosses the y-axis at positive 4. Now, what's the p-value? 2, because there's 2 units between the focus and the vertex. So is the parabola going to open up or down? Down. The focus is below the vertex, so it has to open down so that it will keep it inside it, which means you're going to have to put a negative on that 1/4p part. Okay, so going back to the equation, it's y minus k, so y minus 2 equals 1/4 times your p-value, which would give you a 8. It opens down, so go ahead and make that negative, and then x minus h squared. Any questions? Okay, once you've copied that, go ahead and flip to page 11. We good? Okay, page 11. Today, we're going to start learning about parabolas that open sideways, so either to the right or to the left. Now, what causes this is that we will have directrix that are up and down. Like, do you see how this time they gave us a focus of 1/4? But what's different about the directrix than the ones we've been dealing with? Right, all the ones we did yesterday and just now were y equals a number, which would have made a horizontal line. Now we're going to have directrix lines that are x equals a number, which will form vertical lines. Because to cross through the x-axis one time doesn't have to go up and down. Okay, so let's try this one. We have a focus of 1/4, so right 1, up 4. And go ahead and label it F just like you always do. Then we have a directrix of x equals -3. To form a line that crosses through the x-axis at -3, wouldn't it look like this? Cross through the x-axis at -3. So it makes a directrix line that's vertical. Now, the same rules apply from here on out. Your vertex is still in the middle of those two. So wouldn't that place the vertex right here, 2 away from the focus and 2 away from the directrix? And what are the coordinates of that vertex? -1, +4. So now we have 2 things that we need. We have the h and the k. What's the other thing we need to write the equation? The p-value. And just like before, it's the distance between the vertex and the focus, which in this case is 2 units. Now, there is a difference in the equation when it comes to parabolas that open sideways. Which way is this parabola going to open? To the right, because to keep the focus inside the parabola, wouldn't it have to open up to the right? Do you think opening to the right is positive or negative? Positive, because think about it. Those arrows, aren't they pointing to all the positive x values? So, but here's the difference. When you write your equation, look, it's no longer y minus k. It's x minus h on this side and y minus k over here squared. So you'll do x minus your h value, which is a -1, so isn't that just going to make this +1? Equals 1/4 times your p-value of 2 will make an 8. It opens right, so that 1/8 will remain positive, and then y minus your k value, which is 4 squared. That is the equation of that parabola. Whenever the directrix is vertical and the parabola opens sideways, you now have to use that equation where the x minus h is over here, the y minus k is over here. Okay, once you have that copied, go to page 12. Okay, so on page 12, they want us to write an equation for a parabola with a focus of -2,3 and a vertex of 4,3. So the first thing I've got to do is I've got to plot the focus and the vertex. Let me make it a little bigger. Okay, so -2 up 3 would be right there, and that's your focus. And then your vertex is 4,3, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. There's your vertex. And when they give you the vertex, they've already given you two things you need for the equation, right? Now, where will the directrix be located if this is your focus and that's your vertex? How many units are they away from each other? 6. So where will the directrix be? Is the directrix right in the middle of those 2 points? No, in the directrix always, the vertex is the middle, so if the focus is 6 this way, won't the directrix be 6 that way? At 10. So what is the equation of that directrix? Right, it's a line that cuts through the x-axis at 10, so x equals 10. Now what will the p-value be? What's the distance from the focus to the vertex? 6. Which way will the parabola open? Left, because the focus is over here, so you have to open towards the focus, which is going to make our a value negative. Isn't that a negative parabola because it opens left? So now remember, since we're dealing with a sideways parabola, we use this equation. And it's on your paper right below this. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Okay, you have to use this one when you're dealing with a parabola that opens sideways. So we have everything we need to know. X minus h equals 1 over what? 24, because 4 times 6 is 24. It opens left, so you put a negative on it. And then y minus k, which is 3, squared. So it's pretty much the same thing. You just have to do a vertical directrix, and you have to flip-flop the x minus h and y minus k. Okay, now let's try number 1 on that page. And you will be given these on your test. You're not going to be expected to memorize that. You'll be given those, and you'll just have to know how to use them. Okay? All right, so number 1, they give us a focus of 1, 2. So write 1 up 2. Label it F for focus. They give us a directrix of x equals 3. So if it's x equals 3, that's a vertical line that cuts through the x-axis at 3. So if the focus is here and the directrix is here, where is the vertex? 2, 2. Okay, so we now have two things that we need to know in order to write the equation. We have our h and we have our k. What's the other thing we need to know? Well, right, which way will it go? Left, which makes a negative. And once you do that, you might just want to jot down somewhere negative, so hopefully you'll remember to put the sign. And what else do you have to know to write the equation? Which is 1. Okay, and now remember, since it's a sideways parabola, you have to use this one. So tell me what to write. 1 over 4, but negative, because it opened left, and then y minus 2 squared. Does that make sense? Okay, one more. Okay, this time they gave us a focus and a vertex. The focus is negative 2, positive 3. And your vertex is negative 6, positive 3. So where would the directrix be located? How many units are between the focus and the vertex? 4, so you have to go 4 this way, and that would be at negative 10, right? So the equation of that is x equals negative 10, because it's the line that cuts through the x-axis at negative 10. Which way will the parabola open? To the right, which makes it positive. Okay, so you won't have to worry about putting a sign on that 1 over 4p part. And so now we have the h and the k, and what's the p value? 4. So tell me what to write for the equation. X plus 6, because it would be a minus a negative 6, equals 1 over 16 times, correct. Your homework is pages 10 and 13. Okay, so on your pink sheet, go ahead and write 1-6 in the date, and then pages 10 and 13. And then Monday we'll be reviewing everything. Tuesday we'll have a quiz.